Good morning, Shaun.
Good morning, Brendan.
Yay!
Yeah, start of a new week.
Start of a new week. It's a bit nipply out here. I will take this over the rain though, because you can actually walk in this and can
Instead of getting wet.
rain. Yeah.
It's the beginning of, I guess, fall, right?
It's it. Yeah. Well, yeah. We had the time change.
Yeah. Again, we're in November now.
We are in November.
Yeah. And it's
elections coming up, so this is, I know,
tomorrow.
We don't really date. Oh, is it tomorrow? Yeah, we don't date the things, and usually they come out, you know, like
way after. But
yeah, they're like, this is 2 weeks old. Well, yeah, that's what, in the moment of recording this, the election is tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll have a new president by the time you hear this, probably.
Well, we may or may not, right? I have no clue. Question on that. So, well, not just your prediction, but maybe an observation I make. You don't vote.
No.
You don't vote.
No.
I've already voted. I did early voting.
I got the apathetic notion of my vote doesn't count, blah, blah, blah. And I don't pay attention to local government enough that it would make a difference on the national level. So
okay.
That's kind of my it's my argument. I mean, you have the Electoral College and the whole flawed system with that. And
correct.
It's just a mess.
So I throw my vote in there, just you know, do my civil duty, and then I also have that in my mind. Oh, if I voted, now I can complain. Well, I can complain anyway, but at least I voted and I can complain now.
Again, my argument is, I mean, if you're actually going to vote and you're going to be involved in the political process, the most important place is locally. Because your local representatives represent your area, you know, your locale, and that locale represents, you know, your city, your state, and then that state with the Electoral College. So basically, your vote on the national level doesn't mean anything, in my opinion.
And
I could be wrong.
It gives you that feeling like who's gonna count the vote. Is this the same concept as like, if you vote Republican in California, thanks for throwing it away because it's going to be blue. If I vote Democratic in Tennessee, thanks for throwing it away. The state's going red no matter what. Yeah,
kind of.
Okay.
That's kind of how I'm sitting on that too.
Yeah.
And again, I'm a little bit older, but I remember the whole Bush-Gore debacle with Florida. And it was like, oh, popular vote's this, but Electoral College is this. And it's like, then what the hell does a popular vote mean?
Yeah.
It's nothing.
It's not. Yeah, it's not who the majority of Americans want to be president. It's districts and gerrymandering,
states and areas and redistricting and politics is not my
over my head. I
not
guess.
My game. But
yeah,
I think I understand it enough. Like you said, you're Democrat in Tennessee.
Yeah,
might as well.
We'll see what happens, right?
So right?
Prediction-wise, do you have a prediction for who's gonna pull it out?
I could be wrong, but I think Biden has to take it.
You think Biden's gonna take it?
Yeah, I really do.
So
it's gonna be close, but it's not gonna be.
It's gonna be close.
It's gonna be close, but it's not gonna be pretty.
It's not gonna be pretty. So I have that kind of. I guess it's me. I'm hoping. Like I'm hoping Biden takes it.
Yeah.
Just because I have my own little, you know, obviously politics maybe are personal, right?
Yeah.
So I have my own personal reasons why that is, but I do have a back of the mind fear of two things. One, if it doesn't go our president currently's way, Trump's way, there's going to be a lot of hold on, wasn't fair. Hold on. Like there's going to be this thing about it, right?
If Trump doesn't win, it's the system's broke, it's corrupt, there's problems.
Will there be violence?
If Trump wins, he'll be like, our system's beautiful, our system's great, it's the best ever. Look, the people love me.
Yeah, it's
right?
like,
and it's all going to be ego boost and inflated head bigger than what it is now. And imagine, like, I must be the greatest ever because they want me. I'm going to run for a third term. You know, he'll pull that out.
Yeah. I did the greatest thing.
But if he loses, it's a flawed system and there's problems.
I was talking
I'm taking my ball and going home.
I'm taking my ball and going home, right? Or I'm encouraging the people who do support me to
rise up.
To like, you know, like if it's a hoax. You know, people who are going to be in power are out to get you and take away your rights. What are you going to do to stand up for your rights? And then when something violent happens, going, I never said anything about creating violence. I just said, what are you going to do to stand up for your rights?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of mentality is what I fear. But we'll see. I mean, nothing else will play it out.
And again, I don't want to be quick to call the mass populace kind of on stupid, but you see things, and you know, over getting older and years pass and whatever, people will rise up and, you know, stomp their feet and bitch and argue and complain and say things didn't go my way, and then next week it'll be like, okay, what's new?
Yeah.
So like, and again,
it could just be all for nothing. It's just a lot of talk and mumbo jumbo.
And again, I don't want to tick anybody off or piss anybody off or even like throw my viewpoint out there, but like the whole George Floyd thing, right? Huge deal, huge police brutality, everybody protests in the streets, multiple cities rioting and protesting, and peaceful or not peaceful. You know, police are corrupt, defund the police, and then a month later it's like, who is that again? George, oh yeah, I remember that.
Like it was almost a fad, like it was a flavor of the week. Yeah.
And again, I mean, last week I think police shot another black man, like, you know, unarmed black person. You know,
nothing's
horrible.
Creating the change. It's like nothing's creating the change.
But again, we can have a fit and argue and complain about it, and this is the flavor of the week.
I feel that what has been in my own personal life, what has been, and I'm not saying this is all hit, you know, this is 100%, you know, Trump's presidency's fault. I'm saying what has transpired in my life since moving out here during his presidency, you can't get that back. You can't get that back. The relationships that were damaged by being on two different ends of the political spectrum got so serious that it came up in the trial of my divorce. Like, my in-laws felt it necessary to mention how they voted for President Trump, and I did not, and that's a big deal because I must be crazy because to not like everyone who's voted for Trump. And my whole my thing was, you have aligned yourself with people like the QAnon who believe the pedophilic deep state conspiracies. You've aligned yourself with people who are flamboyantly racist, and then you get mad that I call out the fact that you're on that side of the like that team, and you're like, well, I'm not that person. You're on that team. That's the team that you're supporting.
For.
And that wedge was created so heavily that it really tore there was an element to the marriage where it was like, hey, I don't like you know, this person. How could you not?
Yeah, it even gets to the point where politics come into factor. You know,
a factor.
How ridiculous is that?
Yeah, it was quite, because people are looking to argue. So, I mean, that will always be a thing. Like I moved out here in 2016. I was happily married. I was planting my roots, and by 2020, I was bitterly divorced. And there was definitely an element of, well, he doesn't support the president. That and it wasn't like me and my now ex-wife, we were actually on the same page politically, but the wedge came between the in-laws who would show signs of racism, in my opinion, that they show that they didn't like the black neighborhoods. And I'm like, you mean the low-income neighborhoods? It's the same thing. Well, then come on now. You know what I mean?
That's racist right there.
That's what I'm saying. Like the subtle racist comments that were said to only be like, well, that's not me. It kind of sounds like you though. So
I don't know. Somebody put this into context for me it wasn't the other day. It was actually 4 years ago.
Okay.
When Trump got put in. And it was like, you know what? If let's say the biggest dickhead in your high school, right? Was a pilot on a plane. You got on a plane, and that guy is now flying your plane. You might not be his biggest fan, but you sure as shit want him to fly that plane pretty good.
Oh, I know this analogy. Yeah, right? And land it and all that stuff, right?
It's like, so it's like you're giving the reins to the person that you don't really trust.
You don't really trust him.
But damn it, he better do a good job at it, right? And that's what I was like, okay, Trump, right?
Yeah.
Don't like this guy, but he better fly this plane. Don't think he did a good job of it.
Yeah, see, and that was my analogy was, oh no, you guys, he's not trying to fly the plane. He's not he
put it on autopilot.
He's a radical who got onto the plane and was like, I can't wait to crash this son of a bitch. Yeah. You have no choice but to storm the cockpit. Yeah, like he has no intentions of landing this plane.
Yeah.
You have to understand, like, you're like, well, we're all in this together. No, you're not. You have no clue what he says. Look what he's doing. He's freaking doing barrel rolls.
Yeah. And it's like, love the team, hate the quarterback type of thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, or hate the coach, or however you want to look at it.
So if there is a new president, by the time this does air, because it's tomorrow, right? Everyone's really looking at election. Then there is. And if there isn't, then there isn't. Because that's another thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what's it gonna, like, what's the outcome? There's going to be civil unrest no matter what. There's no matter who's in office, there's going to be a tank in the economy. It's just like out on you, I guess, suppose.
Yeah. Side A versus side B.
Yeah, if you know, if a new leader comes in, a new president comes in, the Democratic Party, and everything goes to shit, they're gonna be like, see, it's because this guy, that's why it's all went to shit. But if you skip with a Republican president and it all goes to shit, then who do you blame? And at the same time, who wants to be like, I was right about the apocalypse? Like, who wants to be right about like destruction and chaos? You know?
Nobody.
Yeah, when it gets that bad, and that's one thing I'm learning is, people like to put the blame as if once you blame somebody, then it's
the
fine.
Problem's gone.
The problem doesn't go away if you say this is who's to blame. It's still the problem. We talked about that with COVID. It doesn't matter. The problem persists and it still exists, regardless of who you think is to blame or put the blame on anyway. So anyway, there's that.
Politics
have been a headache. They've been messing with a lot of people. We'll see how things go. Moving on from politics, I took a picture that I'm gonna put on the videos of your family crest.
Oh yeah, kind of. My dad, again, I've talked about this briefly before. You know, was an outdoors guy and used to sell trapping lures. That was his big business, and he had like a little flyer and he had a logo drawn up, and like you said, you kind of adhere that to the crest. You know,
the closest thing do you have to family?
Yeah. And a few years back, I got these really large rocks. They're decorative, like landscape rocks. And we had our names carved in them. I had somebody help me out with that, and it was really helpful and really appreciated doing all the hard work of carving it. And then I had them put that crest in, the logo, whatever you want to call it, in that carving. And I had one made for our house and one made for my parents, and that's where you were going. You took a photo of that. Yeah, to put that on so that I like it because we've already talked about the fox pelts and how your childhood kind of was, scraping the fat and all the stuff off these pelts and stuff. And I mean, it is whatever you want to call it, but it is it's a symbol or a picture, an image that to you speaks family. You represent that with family, Or at least, at the very least, my dad's hobby, his passion,
Yeah.
Something he was into.
And what I thought was nice, and we talked about this, you watch a show and you had you've been inspired to forge.
You want me to go through all of that?
I do. Yeah, okay. I liked it. There's this because of the crest and the fox and how what family means to you.
All right. Well, again, I'm a man of, I think, many hats. Okay. And we've talked, I start 100 projects and never finish, right? Mm-hmm. But I've been watching Forged in Fire. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it. It's actually a pretty cool show. It's pretty much a standard template, like reality competition show. Anyway, these guys make knives and then they're tested and then they go home and make a bigger knife, right? And it's like, oh, that looks really cool. I could be absolutely wrong, but I've looked into my last name and the actual lineage of what it means. And as far as I know, as far as I can piece it together, the first part of my last name is like a smith. It's someone who works with things. And the last part of my name is Eisen, which is German for iron. So like an ironsmith, a blacksmith. That's kind of how I look at it, right? So I'm like, why not dig into this heritage? I watched this show, it looks pretty awesome. I'd like to learn how to make a freaking knife. Well, I looked into local forges, and thanks to COVID, most of them are all closed up.
So you did do some due diligence on it.
I did a little bit of research, and, you know, but anyway, watch this show. I think I could pull it off, you know, with some training.
You take notes, I've seen. You have a book where you you pause it and you write down the vocabulary. You write down these things.
I'm being a nerd about it.
You are.
Yeah, instead of like actual
nerd.
My hands dirty.
Yeah. But, hey, but I explained to you, that's what college is. Like, it's mostly the first few years about theory and how this would work. Like, even if you're gonna be a teacher, you don't go, okay, well, we're gonna put you with a bunch of students, not till your last year, you know? You sit there for like a year or more.
Training and learning.
Learning the concepts and classroom management skills and pedagogy this and learning techniques that. So that's what you're doing. You're just doing it on your own accord.
Yeah, I'm going about it in scientific, intelligent manner where I'm learning everything I can before I go in and make a fool of myself. That's kind of the idea.
Before I crash and burn, I like to learn how to crash. Or how to land the plane. Like, I like to think I know how to land the plane. I'll crash and burn anyway.
So anyway, yeah, I'm actually studying the show, studying, you know, materials and techniques and whatnot. I might not be any good at it. I've never attempted any of it. And again, thanks to COVID, anything that
you can't even practice.
I can't even unless I buy a ton of material. Here we go with money, right? Buy a ton of material and make anything. So anyway, whole long story. I'm not incredibly outdoorsy. I don't go out and hunt. I don't fish. I don't, you know, trap. I don't do any things my father tried to, you know, instill in me. You know, that was his thing. And it's like, I'm going to teach my boy how to hunt. Don't care for it. And teach my hunt how to trap. Boy, how to trap. Never went out on a trapping line. Never set a trap in my life. Right? Fox farm. I didn't care for the fox. We went out, fed them. That was our job, and shoveled their shit, you know? It's like, this is work. I don't want to work. So I'm like, okay, if I make a knife, right?
If you make a knife, what's the purpose?
I don't carry a knife. I don't carry a gun. Like, why would I make a knife, right? And I'm just like, oh, it looks cool.
You thought about it. You thought you do want to make a knife. You don't have necessarily the purpose for this knife. So why make the knife?
And then it just hit me the other day. I'm like, if I made this knife, who would I give it to? My freaking dad. Like, why wouldn't have that been the first thing I thought of?
And it was sentimental. I remember when you first told me, I teared up because
I mean, it would show him, right? Even though that I wasn't all involved as a kid. And my dad had a stroke a number of years back, so he's kind of incapacitated. He doesn't do much, you know. He
doesn't necessarily have a purpose for the knife.
No, he wouldn't have it. It would be symbolic.
It's a symbol,
It'd be absolutely symbolic, right?
A sentimental symbol of you know, I didn't necessarily take up fox pelts or trapping.
Or the hunting aspect or your outdoorsy, you know, ways, but here's something I want to show you that, you know, it did stick. You know, you were a good dad. You were there. You tried to instill something in me. Wasn't, you know, something I liked, but I recognized your effort.
And that's super sweet, dude. That's super sentimental. I think like, it is very touching to say, like, I'll make a knife that no one has a use for, but it's just to show you I care. It's just to show you that something's stuck.
And I wanted to put that symbol either on the hilt or on the handle, or even in like a, you know, like a leather pouch holder for him or something. Oh
yeah, that was where it came from. What symbol would you put on? So the picture of the symbol with this little fox and stuff, you'll do your best to put that in, you know, on your own.
And lay it in the handle, or, you know, etch it on the blade, something, you know, just to where it would be.
I think that's a cool story. I think that's really sentimental. I think it's cool. I said this, if, because you work with wood too. You do like those little wood reindeers. I need to take a picture of one of those too. If one of your kids later on in life, say you did have a stroke, or you couldn't really use your hands or hold drumsticks anymore, made a pair of drumsticks for you, even if you couldn't play the drums, wouldn't you be like, oh, you care? Like, it's just the fact that I used to work with wood. You made this with wood.
Yeah, the symbolism of it, you know, and the sentimentality and, you know, all of that crap. Yeah, maybe I'm a big ass softy inside somewhere.
Yeah, see, it's usually family though. That's where your soft, gushy point is.
Oh yeah.
You could be like, oh, politics this, oh, you acupuncture that, oh, religion this and this, but family's sweet.
But so, I mean, right, the crazy thing though, the crazy thing about the whole idea is, I've been having this, oh, I want to go to a forge idea for like a year and a half, 2 years, right? Ever since I started watching the show, I'm like, that looks really cool. I want to do that. It hitting me in the face of like, make it for your fucking dad. Like, I don't know where I don't know why it took me that long to even come to that idea.
To reflect back on why. Well, and plus the lore of your name, like, what is it that, how weird or is there a coincidence that your name, if it means Smith Iron or Ironsmith, that you found an interest in this, obviously more than I do. I watch the show because it's a show. You are invested in the show as if it's like a calling, like this is something very interesting. This is a hobby you would pursue. That's pretty significant. So
I don't know. And then this all circles back to, I guess, kind of the idea of legacy, right? Mm-hmm. Why not make something that can last? Why not make something that lasts longer than you do?
Why not try,
you know?
Right?
Or like, you know, I never got passed down a, like, you know, watch that my grandfather had, you know?
Yeah.
I actually think I'm going to get, I have a pistol of his from the war, World War II. I don't have it on my person. My dad has it somewhere.
Yeah. But that will be a memento, or is that
something you could pass
family
down.
Heirloom that gets passed down.
But I'm sure it hasn't been cleaned or oiled or whatever you do with a gun.
Which is weird because what I see happening, and I think my grandmother passed away a few years ago. I think she had some jewelry, right? That was like for the female side, it was passing down jewelry. I don't know what my grandfather's passing down besides money. I don't know if that's like the new thing that you inherit is whatever money was left to
or someone's debt, right?
Or debt, right? Here's your debt. Okay, so here's kind of changing topics, but it has to do with the future. So what you do with your legacy, right? I've been talking to the owners of where I work, and they are looking to hire a manager from within, hire a manager within. And I was discussing with them why they should choose one person over the other, me not even being this person, right? I was like, there's like person A and person B. And I was like, you should choose person A because of these reasons, and not person B because this. And the concept was, person A is very nice. She knows an adequate amount. She's a she. She knows an adequate amount about the industry. Her schedule is open. Person B is way more knowledgeable. Her schedule is not nearly as open, and she's less democratic. She's more like, this is how it's done. I just do it this way.
Different personalities.
Different personalities. And I was like, you should choose person A. And they already did. And I was like, I was just wondering why. And in the course of this conversation, since I am an employee there, they're like, well, what are you getting at? Like, are you looking for this position? And I was like, oh, me?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Even strike you.
Yeah, it didn't strike me. And then we went into this conversation about what it is that I need in my life right now to keep me working there like I am. And it kind of hit me like I'm in a industry that I'm not trained in. Okay, so that's why I didn't strike me as being manager. They're just saying like it's not a hard industry to learn either. You just got to take it serious and take ownership of your position, right? And I was like, and they're like, you do that? I was like, well, I do that because it's easy, you know, like
work.
It's compared to what I'm trained to do. Doing a host position is pretty easy. You move me to manager, who knows if that position's easy or what. I mean, it doesn't sound hard, but I could try it, right? And then we got into the dollars amounts, and it kind of let me reflect back on, so I'm at a crossroads. Do I use my degree, which is what the state says I can use, which I can't use because I've tried, to try to earn a certain amount of income? or do I ride with these people who are entrepreneurs, who seem to at least they feel like they have a business that's taking off? And I believe it is. I believe it's successful. They're doing much better than they projected, and try to get into that management role
and kind of ride with them.
They said that one of the managers that they had to get rid of could be making like 50 to 60K if she was all in, but she's not. And I'm like, that's not bad.
I mean, what would it take to be all in, taking one of their places, or would it just
full time?
Yeah, you're there for open to close every day.
Open to close, yeah. I mean, you've seen my hours. It's not open to close. It's what I mean, we've pretty much told the tell of this over these podcasts. I didn't even expect this job. I took this job because I was like, every other job's passing me up. And I need to earn some income on a place that's not going to sit there and go, sorry, your background check came back and bounced. So you can't work at Ross, so you can't work at these corporations that are doing this. So I found this place and was like, in my head, like, this is for now. This is for now, and I'll work at it. But then my work ethic got picked up, and they said, okay, well, this is how hard you work. I mean, we need someone who works hard like this, and we can give you more responsibilities if this is how you're going to work. And it's like, I could work this.
Let me give you an alternative. Go for it. And if something comes up, you can walk away.
Then walk away.
You don't know them. You don't know them anything. I'm not saying be a dick about it. But I'm saying you don't know them anything. Take the opportunity when it arises. It's knocking. Hello, Carol.
That's what I thought. Right? Carol!
It's knocking, so take it. And then if an opportunity knocks again, see ya, bye.
See ya.
Like, you don't owe them anything. They might get ticked off. You might lose a friend if you made friends there.
But it is business.
But it's business.
And I mean, they're gonna have to get rid of a manager that's one of their friends. That's what the conversation was. Like, in order to hire A or B, regardless, they have to fire C. And C's a good friend of theirs. She just her head's not all, she's not all in. She wants to do so many different things, and that's kind of where my head was at, was like, I'm doing this for now because I have to pursue different things. And then this option came, like you said, like this option came where it's like, well, you could do this. And you can make and that was my answer when they're like, what is it that you need to stay doing this? Do this more. And I was like, a livable wage. Like, what I mean, I moved out here. I don't have, my brothers and sisters and mothers and dad. They're not out here, but I have my kids out here, and I want to be able to provide a fun place for them when I see them.
Let's be honest, right? The hours you work and the wage you make right now, you probably could maybe afford rent.
I can afford rent and my car.
You couldn't eat, you couldn't do anything for entertainment, you couldn't buy anything you need.
I do nothing. I do nothing because I can't afford to do anything.
That's what it would be. It would be, I can pay for a place to live and a vehicle to get to work and back. And I
need more hours at better pay.
Bingo.
More hours at better pay.
If they're offering it, take it.
That's what it seemed like they were doing.
What else you got?
And so I did tell them, they're like, the reason we never thought about you is because 2 reasons. And I was like, it was just such a great, honest conversation. And I was glad that at least the guy was being blunt. He's like, one, you might be great at your job, but you're a host, and that shows almost like a lack of ambition, right? You're a host. Like, you're great at what you do, but you're a host.
But that's what
Okay, and the second thing was, I never showed interest in a promotion anyway. It seems like I was comfortable being
they never asked in the same,
So I replied back, like, let's be honest, like, I'm a host because of desperation, not because of a lack of ambition. Like, it wasn't that. It was
the job you were offering.
It was. I asked, are you hiring? You said what position? I said anything, and you offered this position. I didn't, I would have loved to come in there and say, are you hiring for managers? Managers only? No managers? Okay, I'm out. But I wouldn't have got in the door if I didn't take this job anyway. So it was a pretty good conversation, like, it seems like you have a lack of ambition. That seems like that because I'm desperate. So.
And you don't have a passion or a desire to be a restaurateur. Right? You're just, I'm doing this for now. Right?
And I think that's another fallacy that they have in their head, is that they expect someone to be as invested in their restaurant as them, the owners.
But only getting a fraction
of what and it's like, I understand that. You want people who are working as hard as you're working, but you have you own 80+% of the thing. They're working for a paycheck. They're trading their time for money, and so are you, but for a better investment. The building, the name, the brand, all this stuff is yours.
Exactly.
You know? So, and I would do that if it was mine, but then they put in, 50, 60 hours a week because they're all the time.
And they can get to the point, maybe their, end game. If I were a business like that, my end game would be hiring a person to replace me.
That's what they're doing.
So I wouldn't have to work. I can still take in that income.
The passive, make it passive income, right?
Right, yeah. I hire the manager to do my job so I don't have to do that.
Well, and we talked about scaling.
Yeah.
How does their company scale? And their company scales by opening a new site.
Yeah, because it's a small place,
It's a small place.
Like 20, 25 tables?
Yeah, you might be able to put some more seating out front, maybe do some we're scaling by offering a different menu or more seating capacity. Or you scale by saying, here's this site in Hendersonville and here's this site more in Nashville.
Exactly.
But you can't do that if you're just you two. You need people like you who can manage and you can trust when you're not there. And that's what they were getting at, is like, they could, if I'm who I am, I'm one of the few people that have the flexibility of schedule and the work ethic that they would give me the keys, not show up and expect that place or feel comfortable with that place being ran as if they were there. Yeah. And that was the aha moment, was like, you guys are trying to scale. You need people you can trust. Yeah. And you trust me.
How about that?
Yeah, how about that? So,
all right.
What's up?
I was going to float an idea. I didn't want to cut you off.
Go ahead.
We talked earlier about adding, there's some deer.
Yeah.
Just walking through
Looking for the morning food.
All right. Anyway, so we threw the idea out of, promoting bands and promoting other people and, putting other people's art up. And again, it kind of, I don't want to say dropped it, but it just hadn't come up. I was thinking, if you wanted to maybe put some of your music at the end of our show, just as an example, like one or two, just 2 or 3 episodes, being like, hey, here's some of our stuff. If you want to share some of yours, shoot us a song and we'll put it on the end of our show.
This is what it would look like to be on.
Royalty free, basically, but here's your stuff. We'll tag your name. We'll give you your information out. If you want to find more on band X, follow them here. Look at the, give all their socials out or whatever, and share music.
I'll do that.
That way we can, have a better way of maybe building a community. And if you specifically don't have anything, tell a friend. Say, hey, these guys will put your stuff on their show.
Yeah. I could probably do that with 3 different bands over the next 3 episodes, if I started with me and then moved along bands that I know or people that are also trying to come up. I could throw that in there too. Yeah,
like I said, people that are willing and wanting to share, and it grows the community.
And on the YouTube, I could do the version through artwork. Just send me a picture, and people that watch this on YouTube, not that there's much to watch, but then the artwork wouldn't just be pictures of us and what we see on our walks. It would be pictures of fan art.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said,
So I'll do that. I'll get into that.
And like I said, in this way, it just garners more support, more word of mouth. Somebody who's looking to get any of their art out there. Again, visual.
We are in an area where that is a thing. Like in the Nashville area, has a lot of people move here that are artists in one way or the other. Right?
It doesn't have to fit any type of genre or special anything. Just if you're a fan, we'll share your stuff.
Share your stuff. All right.
So
I'll keep it updated on that.
And like I said, just the intro is a song you wrote. Right. So just maybe
continue with that. That's another thing. I'd like to share some of the songs that we've written together, but we don't have any recordings. But we can. It's fun. It's good music. It's fun music. I like some of the songs we do. But all right, I'll do that. I will try to, as you say, go with people or have people that want to make it come with us.
That's right.
Rather than just go at it alone.
Hop on the train.
What's the sign off?
Especially, hitting on the point that I just made, right? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Cock-a-Lock Podcast.
Have a good day.
See ya. Hey, this is Brendan from Cock of the Walk podcast. If you like what you heard, you can support us just by sharing the link. That's the most important thing, is to get the word out. If you want to go beyond that, you can do donations, you can become a member and subscribe, or you can even buy some merch. You can find us at www.halfmoonday.com. We are a Half Moon Day LLC production. You can also reach us directly with comments, questions, or topics you want us to discuss at cockofthewalkpodcast@gmail.com or cockofthewalkpodcast@aol.com. We also have a Facebook, and you can find us on YouTube under the Half Moon Day page. On behalf of myself and Shaun, thank you very much for tuning in. We know there's a lot of podcasts out there, and we appreciate your time. Have a good day.